Well, hello there. This is a bonus episode, a little chinwag between myself and some community members over Zoom, in which we talk about the ADHD Winter Warriors Challenge, where we are combating SAD with movement and magic for mental health. It's also to raise awareness about seasonal affective disorder. So this isn't the standard episode. As I said, this is just a little Brucey bonus for a very good cause. Very relaxed conversation. The sound quality is not going to be studio quality because it's not recorded in a studio. And this is so last minute that I'm actually editing it and I'm hearing impaired. So please let us off if it's not the standard of audio quality you are used to. But we've got an important message. And as I said in the last episode of season 3, it's pirate radio. Before I dive in, I just want to share a little bit about what the fundraiser is all about. But if that doesn't sound like it's of any interest to you, I promise you this is a lovely little conversation and it is beneficial to all, whether you're interested in the fundraiser or not. I also have to note that we will touch on a couple of potentially triggering topics in this episode. So please do have a read of the description before listening on. Just to also make you aware, ADHDAF Charity is directly inspired by the online community on Patreon and Discord, but they are all completely separate from one another. So ADHDAF Charity is what we're fundraising for, but this is ADHDAF Podcast, an entirely separate entity. The ADHD Winter Warriors is a 3-month team activity to keep moving in what are some very dark winter months here in the UK, to collectively raise funds for ADHDAF Charity whilst combating seasonal affective disorder. Now, I am the queen of hibernating in winter. It's so tempting to just batten down the hatches until spring, but I know us ADHDers need all the help we can get in the mental health department these winter months. Now, the Winter Warriors have committed to regular movement to best support our mental health and well-being from November 28th till February 28th. And with it, we bring a little bit of fun and magic, just like we do in the community and on the podcast. So we've been trying, at least, to brighten up these dark months to achieve our collective goal of, come on, I can read it, I can say it, 1,111,111 glimmers. I think I said that right. So in morning body doubling sessions, which happen over Zoom every single day on the peer support community online, we use all the ones. So it's always 1 hour and 11 that we body double for, just for luck, for a bit of fun. I tell you, honestly, could use all the luck I can get. So in for a penny, why not? All the ones. So we are combining both that and the tracking of glimmers, as I've done many times on this podcast, the micro joys, to create some movement magic to combat SAD and raise funds for the charity. Each team member has been tracking their movement each week, which is collated into glimmers over this period. And our goal is actually collective, and it's to support ourselves and each other to get through the winter here in the UK and to get the charity out into the community in real life to support ADHD adults of marginalised genders by spring. Now, seasonal affective disorder, SAD, disproportionately affects people with ADHD. This form of depression that tends to occur during the darker months of the year frequently co-occurs with ADHD at an estimated rate of about 30%, with adult ADHD women tending to have a higher risk of co-occurring SAD and ADHD. So the people that are on this episode, we're really in the thick of it. And actually, I just want to note that SAD is not exclusive to winter weather. It's not necessarily about the wind, rain and the darkness. That's, well, definitely my nemesis, but it's actually to do with the changing of seasons. So those kind of 3-month cycles. And I do have to note, you know, when I lived in Aberdeen, there's a point in the spring where it basically doesn't get dark. And that certainly fucked with my circadian rhythm as much as anything else. So there are, though it must be noted, a smaller percentage of people that suffer SAD in the summer months in the heat, predominantly it tends to be in the darker months that we struggle. And that's also because it makes us hibernate. There is less movement. It's the movement element, as well as being out in nature. With so many of us already suffering co-occurring depression, anxiety, PMDD, perimenopause, menopause, and more, last winter, it was very apparent how much so many of us in the online peer support community struggle with SAD on top of what we are all already up against. So we're really up against it. With many community members and people out there in the world still on never-ending waiting lists and others unable to access their medication due to the ongoing shortages, we need to best support ourselves and each other now more than ever. One of the ways to help improve SAD and ADHD is with regular exercise. And in having this collective goal, we hope that we will all be mentally healthier this winter. And in turn, the funds raised further support the ADHD community via ADHDAF Charity. Now, as I've said, the charity was inspired by the ADHDAF podcast community. The work it will do is crucial at this time of both ADHD diagnosis crisis and medication shortages. Funds are needed to be able to connect ADHD adults of marginalised genders in their local communities to then create essential peer support groups. The online community has proven the life-changing benefit of peer support. So to be able to facilitate in-person peer support for those in need will be of enormous benefit to the wider ADHD community. And as ADHDAF Plus has only just founded, we desperately need those funds to get it up and running. If you want to find out more, you can head to adhdafplus.org.uk. If you're like me, this is going to be no surprise to you. Three of the major difficulties suffered by most, we have to admit that all ADHDers experience the condition in different ways, but by most ADHDers, are motivation, consistency, and self-care. The money to get the charity up and running and the peer support element of doing this challenge as a collective has been put there to motivate us to look after ourselves at a time when not only is self-care the most difficult to do, but also when we need it most. I'm going to dive in now to this impromptu Zoom, and these happen all day, every day at points. In ADHDAF land is always a Zoom happening, and sometimes I hit record, and this is one of those times. So thank you for listening, and it's really important to me that people understand that when I'm talking about the online peer support community, I really genuinely believe in it. It's helped so many. It continues to help so many, but I don't want this to come across like just some big advert, because it really isn't. I say it every time, and I'll say it again now. If you don't have the funds to join the community, please know there are all sorts of other online communities that you can join on Reddit, Facebook. In the show notes, there is a link to free and immediate support or resources to go and have a look and see whatever it is you are struggling with. There will be help out there, so you never have to suffer alone. You are not alone. So please do reach out, and please do have a read of that trigger warning for listening on. Thanks so much. Hello, this is a little impromptu gathering, although it feels completely normal because we're often on Zoom just like this, but we're actually recording a little Winter Warriors special with some of the members of the team. So I'm currently joined by Ruth.
Howdy.
Tracy.
Hi.
And Chloe.
Hello. I realise if I just wave, you can't actually see it.
Yeah, it's a bit different. We are all members of the online peer support community, but actually we do have team members of our fundraiser that aren't part of the community because it is open to everybody. We have raised £712 for ADHDAF Charity. So thank you for all the fundraising, and thank you to all who have donated. And that is 64% of our £1,111 target. So thank you so much. So far, as a team effort, we have managed to achieve 556,829 glimmers of our, I don't even know if I can say the word, 1,111,000 and 11 pence or something like that.
111, yeah.
That's glimmers. So no, but numbers are not my thing. Dyscalculia is one of the wonderful side dishes I've been served with the ADHD. Anyway, enough about me. I want to talk about what you guys have been up to, what you've enjoyed doing, what you've learned, how many glimmers you got, anything you feel like sharing. Who wants to go first?
I can go.
Go, Trace.
So I joined because I really struggle this time of year. I struggle to get out of the door. I struggle to do the things that I know helps me with my mental health, with my, ability to function as a mum and an adult and a human half the time. I decided that for me, the best way to do it would be to focus on trying to make walks longer, trying to get to exercise classes a little bit more, because I can easily drop them. So I've been collecting glimmers by walking. So if it's a different walk to what I normally do, I walk the school run every day. But so if I'm pushing that walk out further, then I'll do that as a walk. If I run, that hasn't happened very often at the moment. But I've managed to get out the door once, which I'm impressed with. If I'm going to an exercise class, my friends, they went for a sea dip on New Year's Day, and I counted my half an hour, 45 minutes on the beach with them. I didn't get in the sea, they got in the sea, but just going, being there, fresh air, laughing, joking, and enjoying being outside.
Yes.
I counted that as my glimmers. So because they were what brought me joy that day, and they were something that I needed to help me. So it's just adding anything into my day that can bring me a little bit of a spark of joy and glimmer and all of those things. But it's knowing that I don't have to do it, knowing that it's not a demand, because I can often, even if the demand's my demand, I can often put my foot down and not do them. So that's definitely one of the things that helps me, knowing that it's not something that I have to do. I'm not letting anybody down if I don't do it, and that it's, and it's helping me ultimately and the charity. And we're getting, people recognising the charity and seeing our name getting out there and helping us that way as well.
Thank you so, so much. It was you that kind of came up with the concept of how do we do this thing of making it so that it is a challenge, but also not such a demand with such rigid structure around it that we could kind of set ourselves up to fail, or, like you said, sort of rebel against ourselves or the rules, and be there to all support each other. So thank you so, so much for that. I have to say, I really loved what you said. Although you didn't swim, you were counting that experience as your glimmer. And that's something that I've really been reflecting on today. So like today, I've done a full MOT. I mean, I hate washing my hair at the best of times, and it's a ball ache to get it right again. It takes forever. In any case, it is always really difficult for me to do all of the things. Are you really going to wash your hair and shave your legs and all the rest of it? And I've managed to do it all today. And that is really my glimmer. And so I was kind of thinking to myself, I kind of wish that I had found a way to kind of incorporate those things that are still wins, whilst also promoting the movement for mental health element of it. So that's something I've definitely learned. I liked what you said about it being on top of what you ordinarily do. The tricky situation that I find myself in, but also have to be incredibly mindful of the fact that it is an enormous privilege, is that I don't have to go anywhere. I don't have to take anybody anywhere. I don't have to go into an office. And that is a privilege on these dark, cold days, but it also isn't. Because actually, the second glimmer of my day today is that in being up and dressed and washed, I'm now sat at a desk to work, whereas any other day, I would just stay in bed.
Yeah.
And I would be up, but I would just sit up, keep warm. And that can be comforting, but in the long run, it really contributes to my SOD. Actually, not having that kind of purpose and go somewhere. Anyway, I'll shut up. Ruth, tell me things.
The what you just said there about the purpose thing, I haven't joined body doubling for a couple of days. Well, actually one day, just today. But
which feels like a lifetime.
Over Christmas it was all, when everything went out the window, which is fine. I gave myself I was allowed to rest.
Yeah.
Christmas, that was fine, but I stopped taking my Simprove and all this stuff, and I was like, yesterday, because I joined body doubling, I then did all the things that I did this morning because I didn't join it. So I was like, it's just getting back into the habit. And it's the same with exercise. I was rubbish with exercise. Literally, I didn't do anything ever. until whenever it was, 2 years ago, when I did a swimming challenge, and I couldn't even swim very well, but I did a swimming challenge, which got me really into that. Then I joined a gym. I did not turn into a gym bunny in any way, shape, or form, but because I was doing regular exercise, maybe once or twice a week, it was quite good. And then it's kind of gone out the window. So the challenge has been great to kind of start doing stuff again. And now that we're in January, and I don't want to do the January thing, but I'm like, now I'm going to start getting up again, joining body doubling, going for a walk in the morning before, even if it's just a walk around the block.
Exactly.
Like, to get outside, it makes a massive difference.
I also think one of the things about getting outside is that you get to come back inside and be grateful that you're warm again. But I'm also really freaked out by the level of time blindness that your swimming challenge was 2 years ago.
I think it was 2 years. Last year. I can't even remember. I don't know.
Time, what is time?
Exactly.
Thank you, Ruth. Thanks so much. And we've got Chloe as well. Chloe, you've been doing really proper adventurous things, haven't you?
I suppose so. So I've always been really active. I've always been really into fitness. And I feel like, and like fitness challenges and stuff. And I always felt like it's a massive coping mechanism for me. And I really enjoy doing all kinds of things like climbing, boxing, like strength training, parkour and stuff like that. But in October, I lost my job that I was at for 3 years. It triggered me to go into quite serious depression. I lost my routine. So basically everything went up in the air and I did kind of just stop having any routine around exercising. So the Winter Warriors Challenge, honestly, has been like a lifesaver.
That makes me so happy.
It's given me that, like, I need accountability for things, and I can be quite competitive if someone turns around to me and goes, there's a challenge, you need to meet this challenge. So it's been so helpful.
You're like, challenge accepted. I'm going climbing. See you later.
Yeah, it's really pushed me to get out there. It's been so helpful.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't know how many glimmers I've got because I'm like you, dyscalculia. I have no idea how to count things.
Well, that's the good thing is, just that keeping a record of it, because Tracy has been brilliant at translating them into glimmers. So that's the good thing about teamwork is not only is it a collective in terms of getting those glimmers together in times when we fall down, it also means we can lean into our skill set and the people with dyscalculia not tot up the glimmers like me and you.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't have it, but it's
the one that
me a lot of attempts.
Yeah, thank you, Tracy. Because I was like, the other day I had a little panic where I was like, oh my God, is anyone counting these glimmers? Because I haven't. And there was
If you've not listened to the podcast before, then you might not know that my mum's not very well at the moment. So we're in this kind of process of waiting for tests and test results and stuff like that. And obviously that has been a real ordeal. And it's strange that at this time where I knew myself enough that I would need to put some sort of structure, accountability and everything else in place to keep me going, to keep the momentum going, to then be like, actually, I don't even have the capacity to think about this right now. Like, and then again, I've talked so much, especially this season, about what's the word I'm looking for? What is the word when you? Oh my God, I can't think of the words. Self-sabotage. There we go. Got that.
Yeah. When
you self-sabotage, because then you look back on reflection and be like, actually getting out for a walk, dancing to my favourite Caleb Marshall workout over YouTube is exactly what I need now more than ever. But it feels like it's not a priority. Nobody's asked me this, but as I'm spilling my guts, it feels like right now, because the future is really uncertain, there could be good news. It could be bad news, you know? And with that in mind is trying to take the moments where I'm not in despair to crack on and move forward. So I don't know, actually, I might just say this here and not put it in the podcast. I don't know, but I'm not really sure how much I'm supposed to say, but very much wheels are in motion with the charity, which is very, very exciting. And I'm hoping to launch the first couple of support groups, in-person peer support groups, really soon, like tomorrow if possible, and just get going, because what I've learned over the last little while, and particularly with this situation, knowing that at some point I might need to go to ground and have the wheels in motion, is that though the plan works brilliantly well to go around, gather people together, do the shows, rally the troops, etc., to then connect and empower people to lead these groups, is that actually effectively in the cities that I've already been in, I have actually already done exactly that.
Yeah.
So there's no reason why I can't start with what I've already got, particularly at a time when I don't know when I'll do another show. I don't know what's, I don't know what's going to come up. So I'm very excited to get the wheels in motion.
I'm so excited for it.
It's really exciting. It's really exciting. And, it'll be a learning curve. There'll be things that we get right. There'll be things that we get wrong. And we just have to figure it out and support each other.
But it's better to figure it out than not doing it. Because obviously when you're doing it, you're just constantly thinking of every possible scenario possible. Realistically, only one scenario will happen. Whatever it is, only one of them. It won't be 50 million in your head.
Yeah, well, exactly. And I've got some people who've been in touch about some very exciting fundraising, which I will share as soon as I can. And it's really all systems are go, and I'm very, very excited. So where are we now? What date is it today? Is it January the 8th, right? So it's the 8th of January. This challenge, the Winter Warriors Challenge, is going to continue right through until the 28th of February. We've got nearly 2 months still. So we would like to hit our target of £1,111 to go to the chazza. If you are feeling like you need some help with accountability, if you are somebody that suffers with seasonal affective disorder, it is proven that movement is very, very helpful. And it's also an exercise in community. And I don't just mean the online peer support community. I've said it from day dot. Not everybody can afford this. This doesn't work in the same way for everybody, but it's community, and we are going to connect in a way like this, and we can connect on the Just Giving page. We have the accountability. I'm reaching out to people that aren't in the community that are taking part to be like, right, we are all in this together. So if you are somebody that could, well, let's be honest, I think a lot of us could benefit from doing it, then come along and join us. There will be a link in the show notes with how you can join the Winter Warriors team. You just need to set up a Just Giving page and join our team. And from the page, you will also be able to make a donation to sponsor us. So we each have our own individual page. All of the money goes into the same pot. And similarly, with the Glimmers, we are tracking them together as a collective for if anybody does have a rough week, a rough month, and so nobody has to feel that it's all on their shoulders and feel that pressure. Who wants to talk about how we tot them up? Because I'm just going to get it wrong anyway.
Steps are 1-to-1. So if you've done 5,000 steps, you get 5,000 glimmers. That's easy. If you've done minutes, whatever those minutes are, 15 minutes equals 1,111 glimmers. So if you've done 30 minutes, it's 2,222, and so on and so forth. We're not expecting everyone to have complete proof of what they've done. We don't want
we're not the police.
We're not asking for everything. Yeah. If you put on there that you've done 30 minutes at boxer size, I'm going to take your word for it. Why would you lie to me? But yeah, so it's anything. So for me,
absolutely.
It's dancing. I went out the other night and done over 10,000 steps in dancing, so they were counted. Just anything that is bringing you joy on the day. And it doesn't, like I say, it doesn't have to be a Strava artwork. It just needs to be, I've done this on this day, and then it will be counted. And if you've done stuff previous that hasn't been added on, you can hit me with it. Please don't hit us with it all on the last day, because that will send us all spiraling. But
yes, we've got
if
running
you've done
total
stuff in December and you haven't added it, and I've totaled up, just add it on after I've totaled up, and then I'll add it on to the next one.
And I think it's a really good point, actually, is that, first of all, thank God you're here, Trace. Second of all, it's a really good point, is that for some people, that could be stretching. Right?
Yes.
So some people like me, my ridiculous all or nothingness, like if I'm going to exercise, I'm going to exercise, right? As if my life depended on it. And actually, for some people, they find that mindfulness in that slow movement, like yoga or just stretching, and everything counts. It doesn't have to be strenuous. I also want to point out, because I actually learned this the last time I talked about SAD, is that there are a percentage of people that suffer from SAD from the exact opposite weather conditions, from too much heat and too much sunshine. So if you are on the other side of the world, I know Megan Burks posted a video the other day that she's having a terrible time in Melbourne because she can't sleep because it's so bloody hot. Right? So if you are suffering in similar ways, because I can't sleep because my circadian rhythm is fucked from the darkness, but she can't sleep because it's too bloody hot. So if you are wherever you are in the world, you can still join this and support us and support the charity. I feel like there was one more point I have to make, but obviously I forgot it. Chloe, is there anything you would like to add? Not to put any pressure on anybody. It's just I know that when there's dead air, I go boo, and then people feel like they can't talk, but I'm just talking shit to make noise. So please feel free.
Yeah, I'm just so thankful for this challenge because it's been fantastic. I'm just like, I just hope I'm not going to be at a loose end at the end of it. I hope we can set up some kind of accountability exercise thing because it's been so useful.
We'll still have accountability squads anyway. I know we're in talks to try and get a couple of exercise sessions going as well. So there'll be Zoom calls for exercise sessions. And there's people during the day that, might want to walk and things. So just give shout outs, and people are often walk and things. It might not be at the same time, but just knowing someone else is going sometimes helps get you out the door. I've been using body doubling to make my walks longer in the mornings, just while I'm chatting to people, and it makes me stay out of the house rather than walking back towards the house, which I would do if I wasn't on the call.
Absolutely. One of our body doubling facilitators, Kristen, who is also in Melbourne, she talked about whether we would be up for doing another one when it's their winter. So really, in theory, we could just keep carrying on and honing it with what we've learned, sort of find some way that actually me washing my hair is worth, I think, to be honest, I would be honest with you, right? I definitely haven't washed my hair since Mum got taken to hospital. So, and it probably was a fair few days before that. So I probably haven't washed my hair. Could have even been since the end of November. Really seriously. So actually, fuck the challenge. I think I've just scored the 1,100,000. Surely that's what...
And Laura, it's your challenge. So if you want to add that as your half an hour glimmer today, washing your hair, then add it to the challenge. We're not the police. No one's going to question you. If that's what's brought you joy today and that's brought you glimmer, then put it on. And to be fair, if you haven't washed your hair since November, it was probably quite strenuous to do anyway. So it's probably more than a workout that I would have done.
Oh, mate, honestly, actually, that's not true. I've just remembered it's not true because I remember I put a picture on Discord of my matted hair. So actually, that's not entirely true. It would have been first week in December sometime. It's such a chore. And then I get water in my ears and I already can't hear. It's too much. It's too much.
I love how people have taken the glimmers and there's that person who did drumming as well. That was really cool.
Yes. And I would imagine gets rid of some of the aggression. Well, for me, the rage that courses through my veins at all times.
We are all different. We all find that joy and that glimmer in different ways. Just because I can go out running 2 or 3 times a week doesn't mean I don't find it difficult to do it. So it's, but that's completely different to someone else that doesn't exercise very much, and it's we're all putting in as much effort as each other, finding that, and like I say, getting the accountability, the knowing that someone is just going to take that number and use it, but you're not being, it's not a force, it's not pressure, it's just there knowing that someone's helping you get out the door.
100%. If for whatever reason you don't want to take part in this challenge, that's totally fine. But if you are suffering with seasonal affective disorder, or just if you're struggling in general in any way, please know that you know, there is support out there. We know how stretched the services are. We know how expensive things can be, how difficult things can be. There's a list in the show notes of some suggestions of resources, of numbers that you could call or people you could reach out to. So if the community isn't for you, if the challenge isn't for you, click any of those links to get numbers and email addresses and whatever to get the support that you need, because you are never alone in it. You are not alone. And there is so much different kinds of support and help out there, and people need to find what works for them. I'm just so grateful to you all, and I'm so grateful for the help with sorting out Discord. So we finally did it last night. We launched the new Discord in inverted commas. It's just basically simplified, and the fact that I've said basically simplified when it was the least simple task of my entire fucking life, because I have no logic. But we've done it, and I hope that people like it, and we know that some won't, because people don't like change, but I know in my heart, I know in my heart that it is much more accessible, and really anybody in our space should, that's really what they should want to, because that's one of the things that we fight for. I don't feel like I have anything else Winter Warriors-esque to say. So just come and bloody join us then, peeps. We've got just under 2 months left of the challenge. We would love you to join us. You don't have to be in the community. If you'd like to join us on the new and improved Discord server, simplified for technophobes or technotits like me, then do so via the link in the blurb of the episode. If you just want to sign up as a non-community member to be part of the Winter Warriors Challenge, you can do that via another link in the show notes. And if you would just like to sponsor us, we would absolutely love you to, because your money is actually going to be helping connect and empower ADHD adults of marginalised genders all over the UK. That's Scotland, England and Wales. And it's really going to get cracking very, very soon. And I'll come back to you with more on that. Winter Warriors assemble! Thanks so much. Thank you. So thank you so much to those legends and to all of the members of our team. They're wonderful. Chloe, who was on the episode, Nikki, we've got Becky, Ruth, who was on the episode. The big man is raising funds for the chazza as well. Lizee, we've got Tracy, who was on the episode, Louise, Jill, Micky, other Jill. We've got 2 wonderful Jills, and not even the other Jill. We'll have to have another Jill first. Sarah, Loreena, Poppy, Lesley, Stephanie, the legendary Kim, V, Rachel, Maria, and the one and only Nicole Nadler. We would absolutely love you to join us for this next little period of the challenge. You can come in at any point. You can pick it up, put it down at any point. Just come and join us for some camaraderie, accountability, and to help us best support ourselves and each other through these dark winter months. And/or please do hit the link and sponsor us, because we would be so grateful. And I promise you, there is so much amazing stuff coming right up with the charity, or as I like to call it, the chazza, because I'm an absolute hun.